What up, all? Notseen Ninja here with an unboxing and review of the Nanuk 935 6-up pistol case. This is not just a regular 935. This particular one has special foam cut out for pistols and handguns and all that. Whatever other words you want to use to describe it. This one is from hardcases.ca. They happen to have the best price right now. They are $269.97. Including shipping, because it's over $250, and it actually ships from Quebec, which means no duties, none of that crap that you usually get when getting these cases. I'm going to open it as I talk. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is a lot of cases that are dedicated for handguns don't allow you to have trigger locks on there, because in the US you are not required to have trigger locks. In Canada you are, and this is made in Canada. So that's what I'm hoping to see, and we're going to find out. Since there's very little documentation on it, let's see what we have. This is the case. These are nice, solid, thick springs. It's actually slightly heavier than the Pelican case, I would say, of similar size, which would be the 1510, which is what I've been using. With the Nanuk cases, the way that you open these, it's not just a lift latch like the Pelican. You squeeze in and lift, that way it doesn't get caught on anything and just open up randomly. And let's see what's inside. You got your nice eggshell foam in there. It's actually receded quite a bit from the edge. I'm guessing that way it doesn't push too hard. This is nice solid foam, and it's actually cut out. You got your magazine and your weapons there, and if I recall, this part comes out, and that turns it into a 4-gun with storage in the middle for your glasses and ears and all that type of stuff. But I'm a 6-shooter, so that's why I got the 6. It looks like there's plenty of room here. I wonder how the guns itself will sit in there. Let's find out. This is going to be the hard part, since I'm pulling them out of my Pelican case behind you and putting them into this guy. Let's see what happens. Let's see if those trigger locks fit, or if you need special trigger locks, smaller locks or something. This is going to be the back and forth type situation. So let's get these Mastercraft Live. We'll need these, because I see that I do have ringlets there, which is perfect. And this is how I store it now. It is clunky. It is really not pretty. This is why I wanted another case, because this is the foam dividers, but there's no configuration that works, and so this is actually dividers from other bags put into the one and my magazine cases. So let's throw the magazines off to the side, like so. And let's start loading this case up and see what happens. Let's start with my Smiths. This is probably the biggest one that I'm going to be throwing in there. This is the M&P 45. So let's just stick it right there. And the lock definitely fits in there nicely. It's nice and tight, it's nice and snug, it doesn't move around too much. It does stick up about 2 inches from the top of the case, so let's see how that actually works out. This here is the Smith Wesson MP9. That also slips in there really nice. Let's keep going. This is the Smith Wesson M&P 22, which is not the smallest one, but it's definitely smaller than the others. And the locks actually fit together nicely. There's about, I'd say probably 3 or 4 millimeters in between the locks, which is actually really nice. And when you shake them even, they do not connect. So that's good. This will be the longest one that I have. This is a Smith Wesson Victory SW22. This is probably 1.5 inches longer than the M&P series. It's the longest firearm that I have. Let's see how that fits in. And all these do have magazines in them, but they are never loaded when in my apartment, because that's how I roll. Now, it is a more narrow barrel and a more narrow stock there. And so it does have a bit more wiggle to it. But it fits in. It's right up against the edge. The edge is not touching the sight, which is nice, because that is a rather expensive sight. Let's see what else I have. This is the Sig Sauer Mosquito. This is the smallest firearm that I'm putting in here, and so that'll probably fit in no problem. Because it's so small, with the lock on there, it actually doesn't sit all the way down. Huh. I guess being so small is not necessarily a good thing, because this area, it needs a bit more there. Maybe if I stick it more forward? No? So it's bending the foam that's right in front of it. I might have to cut that down a bit, or just leave it and let it do its thing. And then this is the Walther PPX. This is probably the widest this way that I have. So let's see if that fits, because that would be my other concern. So it's definitely not as easy as the M&P series. It does slide in. It is stretching it a bit, but it does fit in there nicely, and it's nice and snug, so that actually works really well. And that's 6 handguns in there. And let's just start filling it with magazines. I have magazines in all those, so I don't have necessarily enough to fill this thing. But magazines sitting there really nice and snug. They go either way. These are this is a 45 magazine, so it's probably the thickest magazine that's going to be going in there, and it fits in there nice. And this is the Walther. Nope, that's the Smith 9mm. And again, it fits in there. They just drop right in, and it's perfect. That's 45, so it goes there. These are the PPX, and these ones are actually the thickest, because one of those double stack ones, and these slide in perfectly. The slots are nice. They actually stay perfectly still. But now's the test. When we move over to the 22 magazines, which are a lot more narrow. And these you're supposed to put sideways or something like that. So they go more that way. And actually it sits a lot better. This way it's really loose. This way it actually sits rather nice. This is these are the M&P 22s. That one there and that one there. It actually is all fitting in there really, really nicely. These ones are really little for the Victory. So these probably will be very loose going this way, but I could probably put one each way, and they sit nice and snug. That is 6 guns, a whole whack of magazines. I have deskets to put in there too. But let's see how it fits there, because that was my concern there, because it is sitting up about 2 inches. So let's see if that's why they recessed that foam. And it actually closes really nicely on them. Got to push down to lock, because once I undo it, it is pushing up a bit, just because these are sticking up a whole lot. But it fit them really nicely. This thing's ready for locks. Your standard padlocks fit on there really nicely. Nice and secure. Yet these handles, they're kind of spring-loaded, which is nice. And then the one on the side, it actually snaps into place. That's not just floppy. You have to actually give it some torque to lift it. So that actually sits nicely. And then, of course, there is the multi-height handle. That is a little bit more flimsy than the I'd say the Pelican one is, except that this is steel. This is metal versus the Pelican, which is full plastic, but it feels like it wiggles a bit more, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It does lock into place really nicely. Again, it's slightly heavier with the firearms in there too, of course. But this case actually feels really nice. And the fact that it stores the handguns really, really securely in there. These are not moving at all. This is the Nanuk 435. You get a steel, oh, you actually have like a little steel thing to hold it open if you would like. And then it won't just drop on you. And then those push down and that's where it drops to. That's a really nice hinge actually. This is a beautiful case. And it really holds the firearms really nicely in there. And if you did want to pull these out, pull this out and go with a 4-gun situation. And then you have room for your headset, your glasses, probably a whole bunch of ammo. It's a really well thought out design of the case. So if you're interested, you got hardcases.ca. I'm going to duck down a touch. Right in the camera. This is from hardcases.ca, Canadian company. A Nanuk case, which is also Canadian, so you're really supporting Canadians at that point. David is your contact over at Hardcases. Really good support. Not that I've needed support, but even once you place the order, are you sure you found everything? All that type of stuff. Shipping details, all that. Now I just need to think of my next case. They have a nice Nanuk 950, which supports my Phantom. Maybe that's my next one. If you're going to store your stuff, this is definitely a case I would recommend. It feels really, really nice. The wheels are also a lot better than on the Pelican case. You got rubberized wheels. They spin nicely, like they don't feel like they're going to jam on anything. The Nanuk 935 6-up pistol case. Give it a shot. The guns, and I said give it a shot. Bye guys!